Picture yourself standing not on a field of war, but in the center of a silent battlefield. Not one marked by swords or bullets, but by thoughts. This is the arena of the mind. And every single day you are under siege. A stranger hurls an insult, a friend betrays you, a passing moment of disrespect lights a fire inside your chest. Your body stiffens, your mind screams for revenge, you feel the urge to fight back, to be heard, to make it right. But what if you didn't? What if no insult, no act of betrayal, no unfortunate turn of events could stir even the smallest ripple within you? What if anger became irrelevant, no longer something that happened to you, but something you chose to release? Here's the truth. Anger isn't given to us. It's not something others cause. It's something we grant permission to exist. We've been programmed even to believe that frustration is natural, that rage is justified. But history tells us a different story. The greatest minds to ever walk this earth, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, stood face to face with exile, war, treachery, and death. And yet they remained unmoved. They didn't suppress their emotions, they mastered them. They didn't become numb, they became powerful. Their secret? Stoicism. Stoicism is not the absence of emotion, it is the art of command. It is the discipline of choosing serenity over chaos, clarity over impulse. Today, I'll show you how to never let anger rule your mind again, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by disarming it. By the end of this, you won't just know about Stoicism, you'll breathe it, you'll live it. So the question is, are you ready to reclaim your power? Chapter 1. Detachment from external judgment. A man uploads a video, his message clear, heartfelt, sincere. He's proud, vulnerable. He believes it might help someone, maybe even inspire. And then it happens. The comments come flooding in. A few are kind, some are indifferent. Then, there it is. This is garbage. You don't know what you're talking about. His stomach knots, his face tenses. He clicks the profile. No videos, no content, just a stranger behind a screen, hurling venom and moving on, already forgotten. But the words stay. They echo in his mind, again and again. And though the author of the comment has long stopped thinking about it, he hasn't. Why? Why do the opinions of others cut so deep? Why does a single insult outweigh 1,000 compliments? Why do we grant strangers such power over our peace? The answer is sobering. Because we're still chained to the need for approval. We spend our lives trying to impress, to please, to be accepted. We fear rejection. We internalize criticism. We become prisoners of perception. But here's the Stoic truth. No one's words, good or bad, have power over you unless you give it to them. The greatest trigger for anger isn't what happens. It's what we think others think of us. We walk through life assuming eyes are on us, judging, analyzing, assessing. We believe our worth is in constant negotiation. But here's the liberating reality. No one cares as much as you think. This is not meant to diminish you, it's meant to free you. People are busy, caught up in their own insecurities, their own chaos. Their judgments, more often than not, say more about them than about you. What they see is filtered through layers of bias, pain, ego, and projection. Marcus Aurelius knew this well. As Emperor of Rome, he endured public scrutiny, betrayal, constant criticism. If he had absorbed every whisper, every insult, he would have been ruled by his emotions instead of ruling his empire. Instead, he wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." Imagine that. Imagine hearing something cruel and deciding, "I will not let this live in my mind." You become untouchable not by being immune to words, but by not attaching yourself to them. Think of your own life. How many times has a passing comment clung to you for hours, days? Now ask yourself, did those words change who I am, my abilities, my values, my direction? The answer is always no. A Stoic sees insults as they are, irrelevant noise. An offhand comment from someone who doesn't know your journey holds no weight, unless you pick it up and carry it. Imagine this. You're walking down a busy street. Someone yells an insult from a passing car. You don't know them, they don't know you. They're gone in seconds. Would you let that moment ruin your entire day? Most would. A Stoic wouldn't. This isn't just about random insults. It's about your freedom from the opinions of others. Whether you're an artist releasing your work, a speaker sharing your message, or simply a person trying to live authentically, there will always be opinions. Some will praise, some will mock. That's the nature of the world. If you build your identity on praise, you will collapse under criticism. If you chase validation, you will fear rejection. But when you detach, when you live not for applause, not for acceptance, but for alignment with your own values, you become free. Detachment doesn't mean arrogance. It means discernment. It means learning to filter. If criticism helps you grow, use it. If it's just noise, let it go. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. And like any skill, detachment takes practice. Next time someone insults you, pause. Don't react. Is this about me, or is it about them? Most of the time, their words are born from their own unhealed wounds. The rude cashier, the angry driver, the bitter co-worker. Their mood isn't about you. It's the result of a storm they haven't learned to calm. When you stop taking things personally, you gain a rare kind of strength. You stop being a puppet pulled by external strings. You walk with an anchored peace rooted in self, untouched by storms. But life won't just throw words at you. Sometimes it throws real wounds, betrayals, injustices. What then? Should you remain indifferent even when someone truly crosses the line? Is it weakness to stay silent? Or is there a Stoic way to respond without rage, without losing power? That's where we go next. Chapter 2. The Power of Non-Reaction. A man stands at the center of a hostage negotiation. The air is heavy. Every second feels like a blade against the throat. The criminal in front of him is armed, unhinged, shouting threats. One wrong word, one wrong look, and lives could be lost. Everyone watches, waiting for a response. But the negotiator doesn't flinch. He doesn't interrupt. He listens. He breathes. He waits. In the eye of chaos, he remains still. This is power, not the kind that shouts, forces, or dominates, but the kind that refuses to be moved. The kind that knows when to hold silence like a sword. Most people think power means being loud, being first to strike, being the most reactive. But the Stoics knew better. Real power is stillness. It is the ability to absorb a storm and not sway, to feel the fire rise and choose not to burn. This is the power of non-reaction. It's not weakness, it's not passivity, it's precision. The person who doesn't react emotionally, who can remain composed while others unravel, always holds the advantage. This is why the greatest leaders, warriors, and negotiators in history trained themselves not to react, but to respond. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by wars, betrayals, and loss, wrote again and again about this inner strength. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Ask yourself, when was the last time someone provoked you? A cruel comment, an unfair accusation, an insult in front of others. Your body tensed, your heart raced, your mind screamed to fight back. You had to respond, right? But what came next? Did your reaction help? Did it bring clarity, or did it escalate everything? Here's the truth. When someone insults you, they expect anger. When someone challenges you, they expect resistance. When someone tests you, they expect to see you flinch. But when you give them nothing, you confuse them, you disarm them, you win. That is the game-changing power of calm. Non-reaction isn't silence from fear, it's silence from control. The Stoic doesn't explode, he calculates, he waits. He observes the battlefield of words, ego and chaos, and chooses when, or if, to engage. So how do we train this? How do we resist the surge of emotion when it feels overwhelming? Start with something simple, ancient, proven, the 3-second rule. The next time anger rises, pause, do nothing. Breathe in, slowly. Exhale, and ask yourself just one question. Does this situation deserve my energy? Almost every time, the answer is no. A stranger cuts you off in traffic? Not worth it. A passive-aggressive co-worker? Not worth it. A snide comment online? Not worth it. You don't need to answer every bark. You don't need to fight every shadow. And in those 3 seconds, something powerful happens. The emotional wave passes and your rational mind returns. You regain command. Elite soldiers are trained in this, martial artists too. In combat, reacting emotionally means death. You must stay calm, even as chaos swirls around you. And life? Life is just a different kind of battlefield. Still dangerous, still full of provocation. But the principle is the same. He who does not react controls the outcome. Imagine an argument. Someone's trying to provoke you, loud, aggressive, desperate for a reaction. You say nothing. You stay calm. You let the tension hang in the air like a weight they can't lift. Watch what happens next. They unravel. They lose their edge, their rhythm, their control, because you didn't give them what they came for. You didn't feed their fire. And in doing so, you stayed in power. Master negotiators do this all the time. They let silence stretch. They watch as the other side fumbles, over-explains, exposes their own weakness. This is called the power of the pause. And when you wield it with calm intention, it becomes your greatest weapon. But there's a question left hanging in the air. What about when it's serious? What about when someone crosses a line? When the offense is real, the damage undeniable? Should we still stay silent? Still let it go? The answer is not to ignore wrongdoing. The answer is to act without losing yourself, to respond but not react, to hold your values, your boundaries, your justice, not with noise, but with strength. This is what it means to be stoic, to be a master of your inner world, to act from reason, not reflex, to command your response every time. So next time life throws chaos your way, remember, power is not in the punch. It's in the pause. It's in the moment you choose not to give your energy away. It's in the stillness that disarms every storm. Chapter 3. Memento Mori. How accepting death ends all anger. He opens his eyes slowly. The ceiling above is white, sterile. His ribs ache with every breath. His body bruised, battered. The memory of twisted metal, shattering glass and screaming tires is still fresh, etched into his bones. Just hours ago, he was racing down the highway, mind consumed by stress, emails, meetings, arguments, ambitions. All of it felt so important. And then, in 1 second, everything stopped. Now, lying in a hospital bed, barely alive, only one thought echoes in his mind. Why did I waste so much time on things that didn't matter? There is no perspective more clarifying than brushing against death. Nothing else strips away illusion faster. It dissolves ego, melts pride, silences petty anger. The argument you obsessed over? The insult that ruined your day? The plans that didn't go as expected? All of it suddenly feels laughably small. This is the power of Memento Mori, a core Stoic principle that means, remember, you must die. And while that may sound morbid to some, to the Stoic, it is liberation. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled during plagues and war, wrote with sharp clarity, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This wasn't poetry, it was preparation. Because when you carry death in your awareness, not as fear, but as perspective, you begin to live wisely. Ask yourself, if this were your final day, would that argument matter? Would you waste even a second being angry at a stranger who cut you off? Would you ruminate over the rude tone in someone's voice? No, you would forgive quickly. You would love more easily. You would speak with more truth and waste far less time. That's the clarity death gives us. And here's the good news. You don't have to survive a car crash or stare down the edge to experience this shift. You can choose to see life through that lens right now. When you remember that your time is finite, anger becomes absurd. It's like throwing away gold to argue over dust. Anger is a thief. It doesn't just steal your peace. It steals your minutes, your focus, your presence. You can reclaim it, but only when you understand just how precious time really is. Imagine waking up each morning and asking, if today were my last, would this deserve my attention? Ask it when someone insults you. Ask it when plans fall apart. Ask it when your pride wants to take the wheel. Soon, you'll find that most of the things that provoke you aren't worth even a moment of your remaining time. Consider the man who walked away from a plane crash. Before, he lived in constant stress, rushing, arguing, striving, reacting. But after that experience, everything changed. He stopped fighting things he couldn't control. He stopped holding on to resentment. He smiled more, let go faster. Why? Because he had seen how fragile life really is. And once you know, deeply, that the end is always near, you stop wasting time on things that won't matter when it arrives. This is the Stoics' ultimate shift. Not to ignore emotions, but to put them in perspective. You may still feel the anger rise. That's human. But when you weigh it against the reality of death, it shrinks. It no longer controls you. And this isn't just philosophy, it's neuroscience. Studies show that those who survive near-death experiences return with a rewired brain. More patient, more present, less reactive. Because when you've seen the end, you stop living like you're immortal. But you don't need a disaster to wake up. You can practice this awareness today. Here's a challenge. Every morning before the world pulls at you, ask, if this were my final day, what would I choose to care about? And throughout the day, return to it. Before an argument, before a complaint, before choosing resentment. Repeat, is this worth my life energy? Because in the end, that's what anger costs you, life. And when you stop giving your precious days to things that don't matter, something beautiful happens. You live clearer, you speak slower, you move with intention, you become a guardian of your peace. But what about the days when life still gets under your skin? When you slip? When the anger creeps back in? What then? That's where discipline comes in. That's where ritual begins. That's where you train your mind not just once, but every single day, like a warrior. Chapter 4. The Daily Stoic Ritual. How to train your mind like a warrior. A warrior does not wake up and hope he'll be ready when battle comes. He prepares. He sharpens his sword, strengthens his body, and most importantly, disciplines his mind. The modern world is no less chaotic. Insults, delays, disrespect, injustice. Most people react. The Stoic trains. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They weren't just thinkers, they were practitioners. They didn't hope to stay calm, they built themselves for it, day after day, like a soldier sharpens instinct through relentless repetition. This is the secret. You don't become unshakable by accident. You forge yourself into it. And like any form of mastery, it requires a system, a ritual, one you do every single day, no matter what. There are two powerful practices that, when done consistently, will transform your emotional resilience forever. Premeditatio malorum. Prepare for the worst. Before the world gets to you, you must get to yourself. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortune. Each morning, take just 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Ask, what could go wrong today? Not to be pessimistic, not to invite fear, but to build mental armor. Traffic might delay you. A client might cancel. Someone might disrespect you. Your plans might fall apart. Now visualize yourself handling it all with composure. No panic, no outrage. Only calm, presence, clarity. This practice doesn't make the day worse. It makes you stronger. Because when difficulty arrives, it no longer surprises you, it finds you ready. The Stoic is never blindsided. He's already walked the battlefield in his mind. Evening reflection, review. The battle. The warrior doesn't just fight. He reflects. Each night, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, did I act with wisdom today? Did I control my emotions, or did they control me? Where did I stay calm and where did I fall short? This is not for guilt, it's for growth. Review your day like a strategist. Where did you succeed in silence? Where did anger sneak in? What will you do differently tomorrow? Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, kept a journal not for fame, but for personal mastery. Every night he studied himself. You should too, because without reflection, there is no correction. And without correction, there is no transformation. Discipline is the difference. Most people believe emotional control is a personality trait. It isn't. It's a trained skill. Your mind is a muscle, and every time you resist the urge to react, you strengthen it. Every time you pause before lashing out, you're forging mental steel. Every silent breath, every moment of chosen stillness builds your foundation. Do this daily. Relent, and one day you'll wake up and realize, I don't get angry anymore. I don't take things personally. I don't waste my time on what doesn't matter. I have full control of my mind, and therefore, of my life. The journey begins. But this is just the beginning. Because now that you have the blueprint for an unbreakable mind, the only question left is, what will you do with it? Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire under siege, war, betrayal, disease, chaos. And yet he remained composed, not because the world gave him peace, but because he built it within himself. The world cannot disturb you unless you allow it to. You now carry the same power. Will you keep giving your peace away to delays, insults, moods, and misunderstandings? Or will you rise, claim your calm, and build the discipline of a Stoic day by day? Tonight, before you sleep, do one small act. Take 5 minutes. Reflect. Did I react with wisdom today? Did I focus on what I can control? This is how you train your mind. Not by waiting for life to get easier, but by becoming stronger than life's storms. If you do this, truly do this, there will come a day when nothing shakes you. No insult, no betrayal, no chaos, only clarity, only command, only freedom. The Stoics were not superhuman, they were simply disciplined. And now, so are you. Chapter 5. The Art of Indifference. A billionaire walks into a crowded room. Cameras flash, eyes follow his every step, and then from across the room a voice cuts through the noise. You're a fraud, a failure, a disgrace. The crowd holds its breath. Most people would react, justify, defend, retaliate. But he doesn't. He smiles, he lets out a quiet chuckle, and then he simply walks away. Unbothered, unshaken, free. In that moment, who won? The man who shouted desperately for attention, or the one who didn't even flinch? This is the art of indifference. Not coldness, not arrogance, but power, the kind that comes from not taking things personally. This is the Stoic's edge, the ability to look directly at an insult, a judgment, an attack, and feel nothing. Not because you're numb, but because you see clearly. Here's the truth most people never realize. Nothing is personal unless you make it so. What others say, do, believe, it's not about you, it's about them. Their emotions, their expectations, their unresolved pain. Seneca, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, understood this deeply. He wrote, "What others do is their business, what you do is yours." And that one sentence holds the key to an unshakable life. Imagine you're walking through a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes. One person yells at the sky, furious that it dares to fall. Another simply adjusts their coat and keeps walking. Who suffers more? The storm doesn't care. It wasn't personal, it just was. Life is the same, people are the same. Some will misunderstand you. Some will judge you unfairly. Some will try to tear you down just to feel taller. But none of it is truly about you. Think back. The last time someone insulted you, did they really know you? Understand your story, your values? Of course not. Their judgment wasn't truth. It was a reaction, fast, emotional, shallow. The Stoic sees this, and he refuses to let it stick. If a random voice can shake your sense of self, the problem is not the voice, it's your attachment to it. Let it go. There's a powerful technique, simple and life-changing. The next time someone criticizes you, insults you, mocks you, don't react. Don't absorb it. Instead, say silently to yourself, "That's their opinion, not my reality." Say it again, as many times as needed until it sinks in. Because the truth is, most people expect you to react. They want your attention, your emotion, your energy. When you don't give it, you win without lifting a finger. This is how a warrior moves. Not with rage, but with restraint. Not by fighting every voice, but by choosing which voices deserve a place in his mind. To master this art, picture yourself carrying a backpack. Each rock inside it represents an insult, a judgment, an expectation someone placed on you. Most people walk through life with this weight on their back. But you can drop it. You don't have to carry what others hand you. You can walk lighter, think clearer, live freer. And this detachment isn't just for insults, it applies to praise too. Because if you depend on approval to feel worthy, you'll crumble the moment it disappears. The Stoic does not rise and fall with the opinions of others. He remains steady, grounded, true to his principles regardless of applause or scorn. So the next time someone tries to belittle you, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this really about me, or is it about them? Most of the time you'll realize it had nothing to do with you at all. And in that realization, the weight disappears. The storm passes. You move on, untouched, unshaken, and truly free. But what happens when, even after all your practice, the anger still rises? When something pierces deeper than expected and emotion threatens to take over? That's when the Stoic turns to his final and most powerful weapon, a quiet remembrance that changes everything. Chapter 6. The Illusion of Control. A man sits motionless in his car. His hands grip the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles have turned pale. Moments earlier, his boss had called him in coldly, abruptly fired him without reason, without warning. Rage floods his veins. His mind loops the moment again and again, like a broken reel of film. He blames the system, the economy, the leadership. Everything crumbles, his job, his plans, his sense of identity. And now, all he can do is sit there, helpless, drowning in fury. This is how most people live. They believe anger is something that happens to them, like a reflex, like rain falling from the sky. They believe it's automatic, justified, inevitable. But what if that belief is the very thing chaining them down? Anger, in truth, is not an outside force. It's a habit, a well-worn response repeated so many times that it begins to feel natural. We call it instinct, but it is merely practice, the practice of losing ourselves to things we cannot control. At the center of this illusion is one dangerous lie, that we can control the world. We expect people to treat us fairly, for life to unfold according to plan, for others to behave in ways that align with our values. And when they don't, when the world dares to be what it is, we rage. A friend turns on us, a stranger mocks us, a deal collapses, and suddenly we feel attacked, as if the universe owed us smooth seas. We fight reality itself, trying to bend it through sheer force of emotion. But the truth is brutal and freeing. The world does not care. It spins forward, unmoved by your anger, unchanged by your indignation. The only thing altered is you, your peace shattered, your focus stolen, your power abandoned. The Stoic sees through the illusion. He knows that anger doesn't erupt from events, it arises from our judgment of those events. The world doesn't insult you. People don't make you feel worthless. Circumstances don't inflict pain. You interpret, and, through that interpretation, you suffer. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher who reigned amid plagues, rebellions, and betrayals, understood this truth like it was etched in his bones. Surrounded by threats and treachery, he stood composed, not because his life was easy, but because his mind was unshakable. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think back to the man who lost his job. Imagine if he had chosen a different path. What if, instead of spiraling into blame, he paused and asked, "What do I still control?" He could have seen his firing not as an attack, but as an event, neutral, like a passing cloud. He could have chosen to respond, not react, to begin again, to reimagine his life. His boss took away his job, but not his discipline, not his next move. This is the great divide. Those who suffer endlessly try to control everything. Those who remain calm understand they can only control themselves. And here lies your power. Right now, you can set yourself free. Think of the last time you burned with fury over something beyond your reach. Maybe someone ignored your point of view. Maybe your plans were delayed. Maybe someone's mistake derailed your day. Now ask, did my anger change the outcome? Did it help me? Or did it steal time, peace, energy, leaving nothing in return? Anger seduces you into believing it gives you control, but really it's surrender in disguise. It means you've let something external seize the throne of your inner world. It clouds your thinking, hijacks your decisions, makes you impulsive, you lash out, you brood, you waste hours on a moment that no longer exists. The only way out? Let go. Let go of the expectation that life must behave according to your script. Let go of the belief that people must treat you in a certain way for you to be okay. Let go of the illusion that your emotions are dictated by the world outside you. Once you do this, truly do this, something astonishing happens. You stop reacting, you begin responding. You stop wasting precious energy on the uncontrollable. You become precise, focused, still, untouchable. Most people never reach this level of freedom. They die clinging to the myth that they can tame the chaos. They spend decades fighting storms that were never theirs to calm. But you don't have to. You can start right now. Next time anger rises, pause, breathe. Ask, is this truly in my control? Will my anger change this moment or just poison my peace? If the answer is no, let it go. Not for them, for you. The world will always be unfair. People will always disappoint. Circumstances will always shift. But none of these can disturb your mind unless you hand them the keys. Remember this, the only thing you will ever truly own is your mind. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you will master your emotions. And when that happens, something remarkable unfolds. You stop getting angry. You stop getting bothered. You begin, at last, to live. You now hold the blueprint, not just for managing anger, but for mastering the self. Not just for surviving life's chaos, but for walking through it untouched. Every teaching you've just read leads to one truth. You are not here to control the world. You are here to control yourself. Insults will come. Plans will fall apart. People will misunderstand you. And life will again and again test your patience. But none of it can touch you, unless you let it in. The Stoic does not wait for the world to become gentle. He trains his mind to remain still, even in the storm. And now you can do the same. You've learned how to see through the illusion of control. You've trained to detach from judgment, to pause before reacting, to walk light under criticism, and to let death guide you toward what truly matters. You've practiced the daily rituals of discipline, pray meditatio malorum in the morning and reflection by night. If you stay on this path, something extraordinary will happen. You will become the one who doesn't flinch, who doesn't lash out, who doesn't take things personally. You will become the rare one, the calm in the room, the center of gravity when others spiral. You will become Stoic not just in thought, but in presence. And that presence, collected, focused, unshakable, will change not only your own life, but everyone around you. So tonight, before the day ends, ask yourself, did I live today from a place of power or of reaction? And tomorrow begin again with clarity, with composure, with purpose. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more stillness. It needs more minds like yours. Your journey has already begun.